Tonight on Eagle Eye's Thursday News at 6, we will be covering the removal of the campus mask mandate for fully vaccinated persons and faculty updates across the Auburn University. Then, the National Pan-Hellenic Legacy Plaza broke ground last week, and Alabama is now offering pediatric vaccinations. Then, we take a look at national news and a view on Auburn sports. Finally, we reveal today's National Day and the Lee County Humane Society Pet of the Week. Stay tuned.
Good evening, and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Mary Lauren Burdeshaw.
And I'm Jack West. In a first since the pandemic began, starting this week, Auburn University no longer requires fully vaccinated individuals to wear face coverings in most campus buildings. The change in policy was made last Friday, November 12th, and still remains in accordance with President Biden's Executive Order 14042 and other associated guidance for federal contractors. Those who are not or only partially vaccinated are still required to abide by previous mask policies, and all individuals will be required to wear face coverings in healthcare settings, Tiger Transit buses, and other identified areas on campus. In addition, faculty members may still require students to wear face coverings throughout the duration of their classes if they choose to do so. For more information regarding the change in status, visit our website eagleeyeauburn.com and search mask mandate.
The Auburn Board of Trustees announced facility updates coming to Auburn's campus in the near future. Updates include a transformation garden on campus, a 16-acre garden between Lynn Morrison Drive and Woodfield Drive, created by the College of Agriculture in coordination with Architecture Works of Birmingham. The board also approved a plan to construct a 2-lane campus road extending Duncan Drive from Lynn Morrison to Woodfield that will connect to the Davis Arboretum to the J. and Susie Gouge Performing Arts Center. In addition, a future student housing project warranted the relocation of the Early Learning Center, the Marriage and Family Therapy Center, and the Center for Health Ecology and Equity Research. All three are located on the Haley Concourse and will be demolished for new student housing on the same site. The plan to demolish the Hill Residence Halls also received final approval. Only Sassonet and Boyd halls will remain after the 12 other halls will be cleared out to make way for future academic buildings.
Auburn University's bald eagle, Spirit, was given the designation of Honorary War Eagle at the Auburn versus Mississippi State game for her final stadium flight. Spirit was originally brought to the university's Raptor Center in the late 1990s after she had been discovered in Florida with an injured wing and beak, rendering her non-releasable. Her first stadium flight came in 2002 with the bald eagle flying among the school's official Golden Eagles, or War Eagles, ever since. In July, her retirement was announced after her 25th birthday, where the Board of Trustees passed the resolution to name Spirit an Honorary War Eagle just in time for her final stadium flight.
Speaking of Spirit, Athletic Director Alan Green sat down with Eagle Eye's A.J. Rivera to talk about the athletic department. Here's a short clip from that interview.
And I think Pat Dye said this, that at Auburn, they don't just love Auburn football, they love Auburn everything.
Absolutely.
And as we work to strive to be a part of Auburn being an everything school, we want to make sure that our family, our Auburn family, is appreciative and is proud of, I'll say, the product that we put on the field and courts of play.
Be sure to check back in tomorrow for the full interview as part of the latest monthly review with SGA Show. When we return back from this short break, we have the final update to Auburn's campus COVID numbers before the break and the availability of pediatric vaccines in Alabama. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
The National Pan-Hellenic Council Legacy Plaza groundbreaking was held this past Friday. The plaza will honor the council's members' organizations as well as celebrate African American culture at Auburn University.
For students, I think it provides an opportunity to learn about NPHC and what these different organizations have done for our community.
I think the message is the work's not done. I mean, this is one small step towards a better future. and it's kind of a call to action almost for students to come together with an idea and pull together the resources and really push forward.
I hope the groundbreaking ceremony puts out a message that Auburn University is welcoming to all students, students of any culture, any color, anything. I want Auburn University to become more diverse. This is breaking the ground, trying to push through that barrier that Auburn's been facing for many years.
Due to the Food and Drug Administration's recent emergency approval of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to be used for children ages 5 to 11 in the U.S., pediatric COVID vaccine has now been made available in Alabama. The Alabama Department of Public Health has distributed the vaccine to be received in locations across the state, including community retail pharmacies and county health departments. They expect to have an adequate supply to meet demand, with more vaccines arriving each day as orders are filled. This vaccine for children is the smaller of the 2-dose series that is 3 weeks apart. For more information on where you or your child can receive the COVID-19 vaccine, please visit alabamapublichealth.org.
The Harold A. Franklin desegregation marker next to the Ralph Brown Drawn Library has finally revealed last week when a ceremony was held in the late pioneer's honor. Franklin passed away this past September at the age of 88.
This day is so huge for Auburn University because, you know, Dr. Franklin coming here on this campus and us commemorating that space in this way to start the tour of Auburn University to reflect our appreciation and celebration for the integration of Auburn is amazing. You know, I'm here because of him, you know, and I know I'm decades removed from when he made that walk, but that's where it started. And that's where it started to lead me to here. And I'm just thankful. I'm grateful to be a part of it. I had the opportunity to spend time with him over the last year as we celebrated him and, you know, and finally reaching that goal of his to, you know, defend his thesis. And he knew about this event. He knew what we were doing. He was working with us on the plans for the event, and unfortunately we lost him.
If he were still here with us, he would be proud today, and I'm proud of him and all that he did. And this is pretty special. He was very gracious in that way. Never spoke about himself, you know, higher or more than anybody else, just always humble. Didn't really talk about himself unless you asked him. There's steps in the right direction. So whenever there's forward progress, it's a great thing.
In the final COVID numbers report before the Thanksgiving break, the Auburn University COVID Resource Center reported 8 new cases of COVID-19 across the week of November 8th. This is the 4th straight week of COVID numbers below 10 on Auburn's campus. The Resource Center also recorded 301 tests with 5 returning positive, a rate of 1.6% positivity. This is the final week of COVID numbers taken before the campus-wide mask mandate was lifted for fully vaccinated persons this past Monday. We will be keeping a close eye on the COVID Resource Center's numbers next week. When we come back, anti-COVID pills are gaining traction and an international compromise was made on coal. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Pfizer is asking the FDA for emergency use authorization for its experimental antiviral pill to treat COVID-19. Take a look.
In a clinical trial, Pfizer's anti-COVID-19 pill showed an 89% reduction in the risk of hospitalization or death in patients with a mild to moderate case of COVID-19. It should be pointed out that the results are from an interim analysis done before the trial was actually scheduled to end. The new pill, called Paxlovid, also is to be administered alongside an older antiviral within the first 3 days of COVID symptoms for it to be effective.
The international fight to combat climate change continued in Glasgow, Scotland this past week as world leaders met at the COP26 UN Climate Summit. What resulted was the agreement of nearly 200 nations on a compromise on coal power, the greatest source of greenhouse gas emissions. The compromise, in some nations' eyes, did not go far enough with its language of phasing down coal power as opposed to phasing it out. Before talks began in Glasgow, the United Nations established a criteria for success. Pledges to cut carbon dioxide emissions in half by 2030, $100 billion in financial aid from rich nation support, and ensuring half of that $100 billion went to helping the developing world adapt to the effects of climate change. None of these criteria were achieved.
During the pandemic, the U.S. hit a record number of reported drug overdose deaths in a 12-month period. The CDC says opioids accounted for most of those deaths. But some are now choosing opioid alternatives after surgery. Mandy Gaither has the latest in today's Health Minute.
It's a crisis. More drug overdose deaths than ever. That may be causing many to rethink using opioids for pain control.
It's incumbent upon us as patients to say, you know what? Not me.
Andrea Herr witnessed firsthand the toll opioid addiction can take. That's why she chose other painkillers after gallbladder surgery in March.
I've witnessed people lose their jobs, lose their marriages, and their life.
Her procedure was done at Orlando Health. The Florida hospital has been giving patients over-the-counter pain medicine after surgery.
Their combined effect many times is just as good or even stronger than opioids alone.
Surgeon Luke Elm says a combination of acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and muscle relaxers after surgery provides pain relief without the risk of addiction or side effects.
If we give them an adequate alternative, properly educate them on the risks of opioids, and really make a concerted effort, we can really start to hopefully turn off the spigot that is the opioid crisis.
Herr says she didn't even end up using a muscle relaxer.
I managed my pain with Tylenol and ibuprofen. I knew I had surgery, but I was not suffering.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
When we return, Eagle Eye's Mikayla Kelly has an Auburn sports update you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
War Eagle, and welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Mikayla Kelly, here with everything you need to know this week in Auburn athletics. It's safe to say that it has been a heartbreaking week for Auburn football. Last Saturday, the Tigers looked to take down the unranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. Auburn built momentum early and went into halftime up 28-10. However, the Bulldogs were on fire in the second half, making a notorious comeback to leave Jordan Hare victorious with a score of 43-34. The 25-point lead was the largest blow in Auburn history. Quarterback Bo Nix suffered an ankle injury in the third quarter, and following his surgery on Monday, it is official that he will not be playing the remainder of the season. TJ Finley is set to start this Saturday in the game against South Carolina. Starting kicker Anders Carlson will also miss the remainder of the season as he suffered an ACL tear while attempting an onside kick on Saturday. This leaves Auburn with two kickers, redshirt freshman Evan McGuire and sophomore Ben Patton. Despite the setbacks, the Tigers look to add to the win column when they face the South Carolina Gamecocks in Columbia this Saturday. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Eastern Time and can be watched on ESPN. Last Friday, Auburn women's soccer ended their season in a heartbreaking upset to Samford in the first round of the NCAA tournament with a score of 2-0. The Auburn women's basketball team celebrated their first win of the Johnny Harris era this past Tuesday after defeating the Alabama State Hornets 74-45, snapping the Tigers' 20-game losing streak dating back to 2020. Guard Honesty Scott Grayson led the offensive charge with 21 points and 10 rebounds. The team will travel to Atlanta to face Georgia Tech on Sunday at 3 p.m. Last Friday, the number 22 men's basketball team defeated Louisiana Monroe with a score of 93-65. Five-star recruit Jabari Smith has only 2 college games under his belt and has already had his first double-double, scoring 23 points and getting 10 rebounds. After a week of rest, the Tigers will travel to Tampa this Friday to take on the South Florida Bulls at 6 p.m. Central Time, and it will be streamed on ESPN+. That is all we have for you this week in Auburn athletics. Make sure to stay up to date on all the latest Auburn sports news by checking out our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and by following our Twitter at EETV_sports. I'm Mikayla Kelly, and you are watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We will be right back.
Today we celebrate the birthday of two adored Americans, Mickey and Minnie Mouse. They both turned 93 years young this November 18th. They made their big debuts in the animated movie Steamboat Willie in New York on November 18th, 1928. You can mark the day by watching a cartoon featuring the pair, wearing a classic Mickey Mouse watch or t-shirt, or visiting a Disney theme park. Some fun facts. Mickey and Minnie both have their own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Also, Walt Disney admitted privately in 1933 that Minnie and Mickey are married, but it's never been officially stated. Their original names were Mortimer and Minerva. And finally, Mickey has a middle name, Theodore.
An annual Iron Bowl tradition continues this year as the City of Auburn Mayor Ron Anders and the Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox have placed their yearly wager on the result of Auburn and Alabama's football clash. Of course, the mayors bet on their town's team to win, and the loser must pay $100 to the winning mayor's charity of choice. Mayor Anders has selected the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Lee County as his charity, and Tuscaloosa Mayor Maddox chose the Tuscaloosa Pre-K Initiative as his charity of choice. The wager between the mayors of Tuscaloosa and Auburn began all the way back in 2005 with a friendly bet between the former Auburn Mayor Bill Ham and Maddox. Still going strong this year, we shall see which mayor and his charity comes out on top, but at least the Iron Bowl will be doing good for Alabama no matter what.
This cute puppy is ready to go for gold. Our new pet of the week, Ziggy, has so many awesome talents. For one, he's incredible at fetch. We're thinking of enrolling him in the Puppy Olympics for his excellent athleticism, or maybe even nominate him for the next Heisman. Ziggy's cute, sweet, wriggly, and full of love. He's only 2 years old, vaccinated, neutered, microchipped, heartworm negative, and super willing to learn new tricks as long as there's a treat waiting for him at the end of sit. He's been waiting over 220 days for a forever home and would love to meet you. Apply online for him today. Now we're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Mary Lauren Burdeshaw.
And I'm Jack West. This has been Eagle Eye's final news show of the semester, and we want to thank you for your viewership. For now, however, we say goodbye and War Eagle.